That's totally Pepe. God damn it, Pepe. Hello, everyone. Welcome to DG360 here. I have a lot of background noise in the back. My cat is currently fighting a fly. I don't know why he's fighting a fly. I guess he'll die. Oh, God, that's terrible. I cannot say that. Bodie, don't you dare. I'm sorry. Christy would kill me if anything happened to her cat. Oh, my God. Okay, so now what we're going to watch here, my friend Space Tomato talking about how we're trying to avoid another 318 situation. Okay, let's check this out.
Over the weekend, a dev dropped a big piece of information kind of stealthily into a live stream chat.
I got it.
What it tells us is that Star Citizen 4.0 is soft launching in the persistent universe with a bit of a Trojan horse. It's not actually Star Citizen 4.0, so don't get too excited, but it is using 4.0's codebase. Take a listen to this segment of an older video I published discussing the way that Star Citizen updates are released. Despite all the work being done, the patch is still quite unstable, and CIG feels it's necessary to stay on the 318 branch of code and continue stabilizing before branching off for another major update at the end of the year.
Oh, you guys, this brings back all types of, this is like deja vu, man. Bringing back the 318 is putting chills. The hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. And really, those are the only hairs I have besides here. And I won't show you the back of my neck because it is entirely disgusting. It's just all hair. It looks like Chewbacca back there. Just teasing. It doesn't. I'm very sexy. Let's keep going.
This approach is similar to what happened with 316, which was based on 315's code branch, and the 3.17.2 patch we just discussed, which was based on 3.17.
Yes.
What we are seeing now is a new code.
Do you remember 3.14? We called it the pie patch. It was a mathematical joke.
Base brought in actually before its respective patch, likely in an attempt to gain more stable ground before merging everything into the biggest update the game has ever seen, 4.0.
It was.
Let's take a look at why Star Citizen is doing this and what's coming in this new patch in the next few weeks. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk.
I often think to myself, like, could I start a channel called Space Zucchini, right? And I would just be like, listen, I'm the newest vegetable in space. Space zucchini, or maybe even better, space banana shit.
Banana fountain.
Eric, you're on my wavelength. You're literally on my wavelength. Although I do think space zucchini does sound cooler. Just letting you know, like space zucchini. Fuck, that sounds so cool. I would love that. Oh. I'm also hungry for zucchini right now.
In a way, what's happening here is similar to 318, and in a way, it's different. When we were in the lead up to 318, the tech content focused patch delivering PES required a delay before moving on to the new code base of 318 for whatever reason. This led to 317 turning into 317.1 and then 3.17.2 delivering features on the 317 code branch that could be moved ahead. Now, something similar is happening with this tech content focused patch delivering server meshing, that is 4.0. But instead of delivering 3.24.2 on the 3.24 code branch, like 317 was, the team has allowed the game to move on to the 4.0 code branch, which may be more unstable, but will allow for more robust testing of what will be in 4.0 for a longer period of time. So for the sake of simplicity, you could think of 3.24.2 as 318 and 4.0 as 319, which emphasizes the push to make 3.24.2 more stable as it goes forward towards 4.0. There are many reasons this could be the case. CIG may have learned a lot from 318 and decided to tackle this in a different manner than what they did before. The fact that server meshing is a back-end network technology as opposed to PES, which was an integrated database technology, may make it easier to decouple from the update itself. PES, as we know, required many more in-game services to be implemented and could have simply been more difficult for CIG to get working in-game. Whatever the reason is, this is already signaling a much better outlook for 4.0 in testing than 3.18. And as we get closer to December, it's actually looking very similar in delivery. Come to think of it, both 3.0, 3.18, and 4.0 were all looking at a possible December release. 3.0 was released and then the team stepped away, leading to a pretty unstable live game following its release and going into the holiday season. 3.18 was delayed, though the Open PTU was pushed out in December, the live game didn't come until much later, specifically because they didn't have enough time to test it before then. But with 4.0, we can see that they are really trying to get in a good testing period before December so that maybe there's some chance that 4.0 either goes live or to a more stable Open PTU by December. One of the major issues with 3.18 back then was that—
By the way, we do have an interactive stream. Stunner is using his next emoticon vote. Just so you guys know, if at any point I see an avalanche of the next emoticons brought to us by Mad Style, who's super awesome and made this for everybody, then if I see a lot of this, we will skip. So we do have an interactive show here. Thank you. I'm awesome.
That all the testing that was done in PTU was never able to reach the player base needed to truly break things in.
Oh my God, let's go. Yeah, you like that. You definitely like that last part of the poke. I know you did. Let's go. Let's go. You have a new button that I need to push right now. Go. Easy. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. No.
And try to find the problems that occur at scale. The company attempted to incentivize players to help with the testing phase, but it never reached the level needed. So when 3.18 launched, well, you all remember what happened. And while many folks believe 4.0 will just be a repeat of 3.18, this testing, amongst other reasons, are clear signs CIG is going to try their hardest to avoid that. Which is good. This is an important update, and it needs to come out relatively clean given all the attention and press it will receive, especially following CitizenCon and IAE just months before. This also means as the tech preview channel continues testing server meshing in parallel, they may actually have a 4.0 based tech preview patch doing the actual testing. Many of you may remember that in the early A and B phase tests of server meshing in the first half of this year, they were running on an earlier update's codebase. This is because the update they were at the time, 3.23, didn't really give them much more to work with, and thus they were able to get the feedback they needed without doing extra work to update the tech preview channel. But in these later stages, it could be more risky to do that given the tech needs to definitively work on whatever 4.0 looks like. So if they can get a 4.0 update into the tech preview channel to test server meshing like they have been in the last couple of weeks, well, that's a bit of a win-win all around. With this early move to the 4.0 codebase, CIG is—
Here's something that I've noticed through the years is there seems to be more testers. There seems to be more Evocati than ever, and it's very promising to see people get involved in these 1,000-player server tests. Which it's just very encouraging to see a much larger community in the PTU. I feel like a much larger Evocati community. And we never really, I feel like we've never had this level of participation before, or the amount of people who want to test. And I have to say, bravo citizens that get involved. Bravo. The unsung heroes of game development are the people getting involved and playing. I've been involved in a lot of PTUs myself, Wave 1, and I'm, never was an Evocati. I know plenty of Evocati. They are always talking about, what they're experiencing, which is good because it kind of keeps me ahead, lets me know the direction that the game's developing. But I would say they're the unsung heroes. Not a lot of content is devoted to the people that actually take the time to do the testing, that are gamers that do the testing. And again, One last applause for them because they deserve it. Good job. If you're out there and you're testing, and you're getting involved in the Evocati or the PTU, I say good on you. Good on you, fine ladies and gentlemen.
Is essentially forcing everybody to test said codebase, ensuring they can get the actual numbers at scale that they need to for the base of the update, as well as the features from 4.0 that are able to launch early and not dependent on server meshing in 4.0 itself. And that's probably not just going to be one small dot patch. We will likely also see this codebase carry over to 3.24.3 update for IAE. But what are these features that we'll be seeing early that can be brought forward rather than launching with 4.0? Here's a quick summary of what we know so far is included in this sneaky update. And for clarification, the actual update itself is still limited in visibility, so I won't be showing you new graphics beyond what we've seen in ISC and concept images. But I will be telling you what has been shared throughout the community as being in testing for 3.24.2. The Zeus series of ships is one of the final ships from last year's CitizenCon presentation that needs to be delivered. I'll be covering it in a standalone video in the next couple of weeks, but you should know I really like my Crusader C1. This mid-sized multi-purpose ship is going to peel a lot of players away from that Spirit C1, the Freelancer, and Cutlass series of ships. But over the coming weeks and months, we'll finally get to see how it really fits into the pack of what the pros and cons are. If you want to hear more about this ship so far and the process of making it, I released a video about that just a couple weeks ago. While there are a multitude of UI updates coming in 3.24.2, the MFD update particularly is a big chunk we've been looking forward to since talks and previs began back in 2020. This update brings better usability, more discernible UI elements, new control key bindings and focus modes, the ability to cast your MFDs to your helmet HUD, and it'll be the first instance of custom UI for each distinct ship manufacturer. Well, at least some of them. I'm excited to see how much these UI readouts improve the cockpit experience and allow us to better understand what's going on with our ships and our targets. Many folks get actually frustrated that the character customizer is being worked on, but I'm glad to see the last bits of last year's CitizenCon showcase for this feature coming to the game. After the entire system was overhauled in 3.23, we are now seeing the inclusion of new faces, new hair patterns and types, tattoos, and piercings, making for more ability to customize your character and even better machinima in game, which I have been loving lately. Some new audio.
By the way, Huxley Group from EE Studios by our friend Nate was awesome. We watched that last week, the second episode. You can go to our playlist on DG360's Star Citizen Machinima. Check that playlist out. It is so good. So many good machinimas.
Video updates are landing in this update as well to build immersion and add to the overall experience. Players have been hearing new wild lines from NPCs, new music around the game, and there's a new main menu music which comes from the CitizenCon presentation last year.
I want to listen. I would love to do this. Can please, Pedro or anybody out there involved in the musical department, can we just get me on a soundtrack to this, like, music in the back? Like, I would love that. I think that would just bring in crazy numbers and crazy revenue if I could just get on one of those tracks. Just give me an epic track to sing over.
Not a big deal, but audio can do a lot to lift the game experience and immerse the player, and it's always a joy to hear more of Pedro Camacho's work.
Come on, Pedro. Sign me up, Pedro. I'm ready to go.
There are also some new ship updates being delivered, the best of which is the altimeter being calibrated to actually tell you where the ground is. I'll need to test this to make sure it's legit when we get to the PTU, but if it is, this would be a hugely useful addition to the game, especially at night. Right now, the altimeter just tells you the distance to sea level, which is a bit useless unless you're over the sea. We're also seeing some radar and other UI updates outside of just MFDs, like the HUD. They seem to be testing the way ship names show up as well, so now you need to scan a ship to get information on who it actually is. This is good, but we really need more indicators of ship intentions as well, like if they are in SEM mode or targeting us.
Good to see ya.
The quantum travel markers are seeing small changes too, hopefully to make things easier to distinguish than the current version, which was added in 3.23. In addition to this,
What's up,
we are seeing
Arcane?
master modes balancing. Oh, yippee. Boost levels have been decreased for some reason. The Corsair pilot is losing some gun access, making it, I guess, a bit more like the Explorer it's supposed to be.
We're going to talk about this tonight. So many people upset. We're going to talk about the Redeemer. We're going to talk about the Corsair. These are things we're going to talk about tonight. What's going on?
And a whole bunch of ships are getting their power management systems, jump drives, fuses and relays, fire extinguishers, life support, and battery systems. These kinds of updates are all very heavily featured in anticipation of 4.0, and is going to allow a more gradual addition of the engineering features and star system jumping mechanics that are a big part of what makes 4.0 a bit different. Speaking of which, and this kind of gets us into UI additions, the star map is also showing some signs of transitioning to a galactic view so we can see multiple star systems rather than just multiple planets. Obviously, we all knew this was going to happen, but it is kind of cool to see.
I got to see the
The
next
mapping system
emoticon.
itself is being updated to include cave systems, so you can more easily navigate underground. Of course, this also includes the new cave system remakes, so the rock-themed caves we've had for years are being updated to the new models like sand caves, and acidic caves with water and other things are being added as well. Can't wait until
Ropes,
these maps for
climbing.
caves, though, are either things you need to buy, find, or discover on your own by scanning. Arena Commander is getting a new front-end UI, and there are also some minor multi-tool updates in UI in preparation for charge and drain gameplay, which factors into engineering and the new repair missions in 4.0. We're seeing the new P8 AR designated marksman's rifle enter the game, which I hope brings with it some Halo DMR feels, though.
Did you guys see the night vision? Hold on a second. Let me show you the night vision, for God's sake. I just saw this here. Daft, that's a great... Daft, that is an amazing... Hold on a second. Was that the new thumbnail? I love that. Is a great thumbnail. Hold on one second. Holy shit, Daft. It's a great thumbnail. Who cares about the YouTube shadow ban? We're gonna make it look good. We're gonna make it look good. That's what we're doing here. The DG360 crew is working hard behind the scenes. Thank you so much for that, Daft. He is an artiste. You understand? An artiste. Now, let's look at the Star Citizen leaks. By the way, if you guys aren't aware of everything cool in our Discord, you should be. There is a section here that's labeled Star Citizen behind my very large, beautiful head. And we're going to go into the leaks because I saw something interesting in the leaks that I wanted to show you all. If you go, where's it at? Hold on. This was really cool. The night vision. Did you guys check out the night vision? Check this out. Boop. Oh, look at that. Oh, I leaked it. No, I didn't leak it. But it was leaked. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Right? Boop. Boop. So that's cool. So if you guys want to stay, tuned in, check out our Discord because it is really cool and it's all very much automated. And you guys can get Star Citizen news, Star Citizen leaks, all in one great place here on our DG360 Discord. Let's hear it for the people involved with our Discord. Which we just hit level 3, by the way. We just hit level 3. So, and we've been adding sounds and we've been adding all types of cool shit, stickers and all the stuff for people that are helping with boosting the channel. And so thank you very much for everyone boosting us to that level.
This is just the civilian variant. The focus mode on kiosks from CitizenCon last year, which was easy to miss but should be helpful, is looking likely for this patch too. Game controller support is supposedly getting a step up as well, hopefully at least enough to actually navigate around the game without needing to switch to a keyboard again.
Man, Chris has aged so goddamn much. I just, this project, for as much as people hate on Chris, let me just say, with all the yachts and, oh, you're taking so much money and all this stuff. I will say, man, he has paid the price in years. He has aged so much with the Star Citizen project. Oh man, it's crazy.
Again every couple of seconds. More impressive cloud systems are coming in over ArcWarp that are more similar to what we saw in CitizenCon a few years ago. It is possible we are seeing the GPU-based scatter system entering the game, which could help optimize performance, but it might just be preparations for that. I need to see if I
mean, that was quite literally in 2011. I think that footage was from 2011 and 12, so it was like a little over 10 years ago. And god damn, still can't get over that.
can get more info on this edition. Upscaling seems to be performing better, render distances for lighting appears to be improved, and the skybox has changed a bit, which I'm sure is the biggest point for some folks. This is not an exhaustive list, nor is it a guaranteed list of changes coming in 3.24.2, but this is most of what I've been seeing is in early testing in the new patch. Many things introduced in Evocati get put off until later, and are really just there for some early.
Listen, with the new MFDs, everything looks so much slicker, but there's still a lot of work to do in terms of like the actual gauges and being able to read the UI. You know, that's going to be something that's always going to be a problem if you're flying around Microtech and the planet's like blindingly white and you can't see anything on in terms of your speed. I think most importantly, they're still going to have to F with it. You know, I was watching a video from Avenger 1 on this, and he brought up some really good points. I was going to watch it tonight, but I watched it earlier today because I just was like, all right, I got to see what Avenger's saying about this shit. And I have to say, with about 80% of that video, I agreed with, you know, about 80% of that video in terms of like, even though this is slick and the MFDs look fucking awesome, you still need to read, you know, the most important pieces of information when you're flying, especially combat. Not so much if you're a trader or got a larger ship, you know, but if you're flying and you're an ace pilot, you definitely need a setup to where, you know, metrics are easily readable. And Avenger had a really good video on that.
Testing and might not make it to 3.24.2, but this is what we know so far.
As a PvPer,
it's a lot of quality of life and clearly a lot of preparation for 4.0. At the end of the day, though, it'll be interesting to see if this can make the delivery of the major update we've been waiting almost 8 years for land more softly. If they can get it in by the end of the year, it would.
This is what's going to blow people's fucking minds. And then, you know, like, it is going to get so hype. I think we're really going to go into one of the biggest hype cycles ever. I've really been taking some time to think about where we are at in this project. It is closer to the end than ever. And, you know, people can laugh at that, but I feel it. Like, I feel like everything's kind of pulling together. And of course, all tying on dynamic server meshing for that moment of like clenching your butthole because you're so fucking worried that it might not get out. You know, it is such a big deal. Dynamic server meshing is such a big deal. But like going to a new system, this fucking amazingness, oh my God, it's going to get insane. The hype cycle could literally be one of the biggest ever. And maybe, possibly, if Cloud Imperium plays their cards correctly, we will get crazy amounts of revenue for the project ending 2024. Could we have another record year, dude? That would be insane. The haters coming in with the hate will be like, they will douse all of it with hatred gasoline and try and light the project on fire when people get super hyped again. This is like the naysayers' best time of the year, like right around like the August, September area. This is when naysayer goes into like 110% gem reviews modes. Some dude was telling me, he goes, DG, you gotta like check out this gem reviews guy. Like, you know, and I'm like, why? Because like everything I see is obviously hater bait. It's so hater bait. It's ridiculous, man. It's like a hater convention. I've never seen something sicker in my life where like all these haters get together and they're like, yeah, fucking video game, man. Like they have no lives, none at all.
Would really help to improve what has proven to be a pretty lackluster year next to the communications from last year.
And I said, because I had a member here who I absolutely think is a fucking awesome dude, and he's like, hey, have you checked out this gem reviews in the DMs, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I've seen a couple just because I was getting like a flavor of what the dude was like putting out there. And then I realized it was just like, just hate bait after hate bait. And then I didn't never click on him again. And the dude, the member was like, why don't you watch him on stream? And I'm like, I don't think I want to. Like, I don't want to give this guy any more like notoriety at all. You know, there's enough of that shit out there. The naysayers, the worm tongues, man.
That's a big if. While this is just a preview of what's coming in the next patch, I'll be doing plenty of live testing and exploring what it has to offer on my live streams and over on the gameplay channel if you want to check it out. But ultimately, only time will tell if this sneaky 4.0 Lite-like update will help deliver what the backers really want. A true expansion of gameplay and quality from things like localized missions, multi-crew gameplay, and the long-term possibility of improved stability from server meshing, the mission refactor, and the transit rework. Thank you for checking out this news drop. I hope you learned some.
Okay, a little news drop there by Space Tomato. I will start a channel called Space Zucchini and Space Banana. 2 new channels to look out for.